1 p.m. Eastern Time, which means it is time for a video tutorial here on YouTube. Let me do a real quick refresh because it still says it's waiting for me. All right, there we go. It looks like I am actually transmitilating, and I have a nice little glare in the stamp set there. I'm sorry about that. Hopefully that'll fix it. I don't want to get too much light gone, so what I'm going to do is pick up the stamp set. So, very exciting day today. Yay, the new catalog is live. That means I don't have to tell you, yes, I know how much you love this, but you can't have it for another week and a half. You can get this today, right now. Hey, Marva, I appreciate you joining. Hello, Daryl. I'm glad you caught me on lunch break. Hi, Vicky. Hi, Amy. Hello, Bueller, Vicky, Veronica. Hey, Barbara. Hi, Penny and Carol and Brenda and Faith. Appreciate you guys coming. Hey. All right, so this is a really gorgeous bundle. It's the Desert Details, and it is part of a wonderful delicate desert suite, and it has wonderful DSP with it. So I decided to make a fun fold card that would really let me play with the DSP a lot. So this is a joy fold, which gives many opportunities for paper to be used. And with any luck, I have everything ready. It's been kind of a hectic morning, and we're having a freezer delivered, like probably right this second. So if my husband comes busting in to ask me where to put the freezer, then you'll know that's why. Okay, so apologies. Hello, everybody. Appreciate you guys coming. All right, so I'm going to put this aside. Everything will be on my blog tomorrow, hopefully with all of the right dimensions, so you can just kind of watch. Now, I have used some colors here that are deserty. If you've ever been in the desert at sunset, specifically the high desert, I'm not a big fan of low desert, but I do like high desert. Like out at Edwards, it's just gorgeous there, especially right after it's stormed. All right, so I have two card-based colors. I have Smoky Slate and Blackberry Bliss. And we're going to start with a joy fold really is essentially two folded pieces of cardstock, two card bases kind of hooked together and decorated, all right? So the first piece is a Blackberry Bliss, and it's 4 1/4 by 8 1/2. And I am going to score that at 3 inches on the long side, like so. And let's go ahead and get our small card base done while I have it out. This one is the Smoky Slate base, and it's the small one for the front. It's 3 1/4 by 9 inches long, and we're going to score it in half at 4 1/2 inches. Okay, so that is all I will need my score tool for today. So let us set it aside. We'll go ahead and get this one set up to go here. Where's my bone folder? All right. Hey, Connie, I'm so glad you've joined. Speaking of joining, this is the start of the Celebration Joining Special, and it is amazing. There are 3 separate ways that you can decide to join. One of them is $99 to get in, and the other 2 are $129 each. Regardless of which one you pick, you'll get to pick $175 worth of product. That is amazing. It is like $50 more. It's not even like $50 more. It is exactly $50 more than normal. All right, so I'm going to use some liquid glue, and I have a dimensional sticking on there. Weird. Oh, blurry again. Goodness. Oh, you know what? This is my internet. I'm just saying, there's no focus. I can't focus my phone. It's either on or it's not. And it's very clear in my phone, so it must be my internet, and I apologize for that. Oh, and we have a that's nice. We have one of those, what do they call those, where people are, you know. So let me just put hide user on this channel. Everybody else is welcome to report them. And that will be great because we don't want girls 8 site whatever. Good Lord. Maybe that's how you know that you're famous, because that you've gone viral, right? If you get one of those stalker people or whatever. All right. Thank you for blocking and reporting. I just did the same thing and it got me completely distracted. So anyway, between that and the focus, we have a great start, right? Okay. So I'm going to just use some liquid glue and adhere this piece of the Delicate Desert DSP. It's a specialty DSP. And we're going to just adhere it just like this on its smoky slate base. And it goes in the back of the large card base. So let's go ahead and put that on. So anyway, regardless of which option you choose, you get $175 worth of product. I think this one would be a good one to add. If you select either of the two 129 versions, you're going to get to pick one of the new small mini cutters. So you can either get a white one or the new boho blue. Ooh, pretty. Boho blue is absolutely one of our new in colors that will come in 2023. So it's a sneak peek of a new in color. We're going to use this in just a second, so I'm going to set it aside. I don't know why I brought that out. Okay, we have another piece of the Delicate Desert DSP. I really, really love these color combos in here. And I'm going to adhere it on another piece of smoky slate. And it's going to be for the front panel of the larger card. Oh, and you see what I did there? I jerked it out of the way. I like using liquid glue because it's got a little wiggle room, but you got to be careful because, you know, it's got a little wiggle room. So we're going to adhere that to the front of the large card base, like so. And then we're going to start decorating because the decorating part of a joy fold is the most fun. This is pretty straightforward stuff right here, right? I mean, gosh. We'll go ahead and get ready to decorate our small fold. And you can see this is really how it's going to go. Okay, so it's just going to slip. The back goes inside, and then it all folds together. Oh, joy! See, somebody said that, and then it became a joy fold card. Okay, so I've done just a little pre-cutting. And what I did, let me explain. These two dies right here cut a frame. You can cut, if you cut with just this piece, you're going to get a solid piece with this edge on it. But if you insert this piece in at the same time, then it creates this frame. And I have cut this from a piece of dry brushed metallic specialty paper. It's foil. All right, so I've got a frame, and then I cut just this piece from another piece of the Delicate Desert DSP, all right? And we're going to use that to decorate our card front. So the first thing I'm going to do, the hardest part of this is remembering that this is opposite. You expect to make a card with the decorations like so, but in fact, we want to go this way, just saying. So it sometimes helps if you set it in place to help yourself remember. Now, on my first set, on my first sample, I learned a few things. The first I learned is that we're going to trim that little point. So let me go ahead and do that, because otherwise, when you open it, it just folds up. So, you know, these are things you learn. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I'll just use my snips to do that. Like so. Okay, I'm going to leave them on the tops. See, these are things you don't have to learn. You can just do what I did without the learning part. Okay, the second thing is when I made this one, I used individual Stampin' Dimensionals, my half-cut ones around here. I'm going to try something different. So if it doesn't work, you're going to know why. It's because I have never done this before in public. First, never seen before in public. This exact plan right here. But first I have to find, well, wait a minute. I had a doohickey with the whatchamacallit. Oh, there it is. It's right in front of me. Good thing that wasn't a snake. It's a good thing that wasn't a snake. All right. Yes, it does call for using colors you don't have a lot. Okay, I have some foam adhesive strips. And so what I thought I would try is putting these strips right on the edge of the front of the card. All right. Instead of doing dimensionals, we're going to try this. Let's see what happens. Will it work, or will she be cutting another small piece of smoky slate? And I don't really think we need it to be completely covered. We're not making a shaker card after all. We're just propping this little booger up. So we're going to see if this works any better. Hey, Leetta, I appreciate you coming. Hi, Barbara. All right, and there we go. We just had our first new member of our Critters and Creatin' crew team join. She's been excited to join and pulled the trigger first thing this morning, so that was exciting. It's always fun to have new people, and I'm hoping that our team grows in the next couple of months. The more the merrier. We've got some of my team on right now, so we like to have a good time. Okay, now, whew, everybody hold your breath. This could be ugly. I'm going to go ahead and take these covers off, and I'm only going to do the first part like that. Now, I'm making this up as I go. I just want you to remember that. Give me a little slack. This is very, very close to the exact size of your card front. And what you're going to do is I'm going to line that corner up right there. And then just lay the die down over the foam, keeping the edges aligned with the edge of the card front. Does that make sense? See what I'm doing? Okay, so then I'll pick this up. And I'm just going to keep it. I'm not worrying about where the foam is because I know it's fine. So I'm just keeping the top edge of the frame aligned with the edge of that little card base. And then we'll pick up these little sticky doohickeys. The sticky doohickeys here. The sticky doohickeys here. Hey, Tana. Appreciate you coming. From Wyoming. Are you cold in Wyoming right now? I mean, I would guess so, being that it's Wyoming and it's winter, but I don't like to make too many assumptions about that. Okay, we're going along here, and I'm just going to tell you what, right at this instant in time, this is the way, I'm just saying, this is the way to do this. Absolutely do it just like that. Yeah, that worked out pretty stinking perfect. That's a little bit off, but it's pretty darn good. There we go. And you can see how that's going to go on our card front, like so. Perfecto. Now, this other piece, remember this is the one that I cut from another piece of the Smoky Slate DSP with just this die. I am going to set it inside the frame, just like so. All right? And we're going to do that with some liquid glue. All righty. 60 in New Jersey. I know. Last week it was like 60. Actually, yesterday it was almost 68. In fact, in the morning when I went out to feed yesterday in Georgia in the winter, it was 64. This morning I went out to feed in Georgia in the winter and it was 44. So I was like, Georgia gives and Georgia takes away. But to have it be like that in New Jersey in the winter, that's just incredible. Okay, so we're just popping that inside the frame and kind of lining up the edges. And you can see that those little notches line up right there, just like that. See? See how cute? Didn't that turn out so cute? I love it. All right. Now, there's another really fun die in the set. And it's this one. It's this Aztec-y looking geometric shape, and I cut 2 from Blackberry Bliss, and I'm going to adhere those to the card front with a little bit of liquid glue, roughly right there. Not only roughly, but almost exactly right there. This was another one of those ones I put together with my movable runner first because I wasn't really sure how it was all going to work out. And then all of a sudden it went, yeah, there it is. There it is. I think we'll pull this up just a little bit. That's a little further down than I want it. Okay, there we go. Now, I am going to cut. Hey, Peggy. Yes, we're cold, only have 5 inches of snow. Yeah, so maybe it's too cold for a lot of snow. That could happen. Okay, so now I'm going to make Night of Navy leaves. It could happen. All right, imagine you're in the desert. It's almost completely dark, so it's twilight, and the gloaming is there. You like how I use that word, gloaming? And then when you look at the leaves, they're night of navy color. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it, okay? So, you know, just work with me here. Alrighty, so we're gonna use this little die cutter here. This is the Boho Blue mini cutter. I can tell you that with the exception of these frames, this frame in particular will not fit through. It actually does fit through the hole, but it's too wide really for the plates. Okay, so you would need your big cutter for this one. But this small one, you could absolutely use the mini cutter on. Okay, now let me see. Where's my grass? Here's my grass. These are succulent grasses, and I'm going to cut 2 Night of Navy succulent grasses using this wonderful little doohickey right here. That's my name for my technical doohickey. Sorry, I'm going to shake the camera, and I'll just bring it back. I usually do that just because it's easier on me to get them off, but that's just me. All right, this is a pretty wide open die cut. You probably don't need to run it through twice. It works pretty good. Not a lot of little spaces. You know, if you've got a lot of intricate die cut inside a die, you probably want to run it back and through a couple of times, whether you're on your mini or your regular. And then I'm going to get that off of the die. There we go. And cut a second one. Let's cut a second one. Let's do it. Shake it up. All right. Yep, we're getting another freezer today. Trying to get some kind of organization of our freezers. I'm doing Twilight in the Desert. That is exactly it. This is Twilight in the Desert because we're fixing to make some Calypso coral succulents with no green on them. So that could happen. It could totally happen. It's my artist rendition of Desert at Twilight by Mary Dethridge. Okay. Now we'll just poke these out with our Twizzlers. Like so. And, come on. I am going to place this in place, like where it's going to be. And what I determined is those little points line right up with this DSP edge. See that? Okay. And I'm doing that so that I can put my grasses in without getting past the edge of the card base. Okay, so we're going to go just like that right there. Alrighty. Come here. Get off of there. Stop being recalcitrant. Okay. It does sound like a song title. I think it should be a song title. If you're lucky, I won't sing it because that's really not my day job. It's really not what I should do. Singing is really not my thing. I'm going to pick this up and just kind of tuck that under there and pull it down enough that this top doohickey does not stick above the edge of the card front, the big card front. All right, and then we're going to add the next one, and then we're going to make some wrong colored succulents, but they're going to be pretty. They're going to be pretty, just maybe not completely accurate, okay? Just, you know, putting that out there for you. I wanted that to be kind of more like that. Kind of more like that. There we go. You don't ever want grasses to all go the same way. Nobody's grass does that. God. Okay, now, I have got this sticking everywhere. Just shows to go you. Now, I have got a couple of little pieces of basic white, and I'm going to use the large and the small flower from Desert Details. We're going to stamp them each in Calypso Coral. Now, these are distinctive stamps. Distinctive stamps, sometimes, let me show you what they will sometimes do. You see how you've got that kind of hard edge around there? That is a lot of times dependent on the perfection of the etching in the rubber and on the color that you're using. Okay, so for me with this Calypso Coral, what I'm doing, and your Calypso Coral could be different. It's a huge function of how juicy your ink pad is, but here's how to fix it if you see that and you don't like it. Just ink up, take a sponge dauber in the same color, and just daub around the edges like so. Just daub around the edges. All you're doing is kind of getting rid of that excess ink right there. Okay, and if I had excess in the center, I would do in the center as well. Here's another tip. You could do the same thing I just did, ink, and then take a different color dauber, okay, and dot it all over, and you could add a second color into your stamp just with the one stamp, okay? So we're going to, don't put it on the corner like that. We're going to stamp this in the center of our small piece, and it's still there. But for me, that's a good outline. To me, that looks like an outline. So I'm happy with it. Y'all can be, you're like, Mary, that looks exactly the same. I'll be like, okay, you're right. That's fine. It's exactly the same to you, but to me it was better. So there you go. And then we'll do the same with this small one, like so. And then we're gonna cut it out. Now, we all know that there's no magnetic cutter pads for either the large or the small. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to put my die in place, and then I'm going to use a little sticky note. Sticky notes are like a crafter's best friend. Are you sure? I think it is our best friend. Okay, so we're going to just line these up. Oh, I should put this down. Let's do that. Let's do that, Mary. It'll be a lot better. You'll get it all the way through and be like, I wonder why it did not cut. Everybody be going, see, the cutter's dumb. We don't like the cutter. Nope, operator error. This works really good. I do like this little booger. I fully expected to not like the mini cutter because it's so mini. I'm not a mini person. I'm on a farm. I have a big dog. I have big equipment. I have a big place. I'm not a mini person. I am not a mini person. So I was prepared to not like it, but I actually do. If you don't have a magnetic plate, take a sticky note, put your die in place. Don't move it while you're yakking. So Mary should concentrate. Mary's going to shut up for a second. Diarrhea of the mouth, Mary. Good Lord. Okay, there we go. I like it right there. And then we're going to just adhere it in place with that sticky note. And that will help it stay where I want it to be while I run it through my cutter. And that is a valid technique for either the mini or the large. I know, Connie and Stephanie, it is a very nice set. It really is. All right, so we've got that one, and then we're going to do the same with the small one, and I can reuse that sticky note. Thank you, Mr. Whoever invented sticky notes. Without them, how would we know where to be and when? How would we stamp our stamps and cut them out without a magnetic plate? That's what I'm asking right now for a friend. Okay, we'll hold that in place like so. Here we go. Dun, 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 dun. There we go. Just like that. Done and done. You know, Debbie, I am a little embarrassed to say that I now have a blue and a white one. I'm going to be two-fisted cutting here in just about 2 seconds. I won't be two-fisted drinking, but I may be two-fisted cutting. All right, so now let's set this aside and assemble our card. Oh, look at this. Is so cute. I just love how this does. I'd have given anything to have this when I was traveling. So if you go to crops or anything like that, absolutely be thinking about getting that mini. Okay, so here is our cardigan. Our cardigan, not a card again, like a sweater, but our card again. And I'm going to take some of the new Pale Papaya Faux Velour. I think that's what it's called, faux velvet trim. And I'm going to measure out a length about like that right there. And I kind of want it to overlap my ends. Cut this like so. I know, Debbie. Well, it would help if it wasn't so stinking cute. If it just wasn't so cute, it would be a lot easier to avoid it. But when they put it out in blue, I was in, 100% in, right off the bat. All right, I'm going to take some of my Seal Plus and roll the length of it along there like so, and adhere it in the middle. The ribbon, as it were. And then I'm going to populate this. Here we go. If I can find some dimensionales, here they are. We'll put some dimensionals on the back of our large flower. And I'm kind of staying to the middle so I can tuck as much as I want. Alrighty. And we're going to put him right there like that. And then I'm going to use liquid glue for the small one, little small guy right here, and tuck him right under like so. Okey-doke. Now, I'm going to take another piece of basic white, and I'm going to stamp Your Smile is Pure Magic in Blackberry Bliss. I know, the blue is too pretty. I am so excited to see the other 4 colors. Are you guys not? All right, and I'm going to stamp this right along the bottom as straight as I can get. Dun, 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 dun. There we go. And remember, ask me how I know. Let this dry. You know what? While that dries, let me do something else. I wanted to do something else to these flowers. These are Calypso Coral, remember? I've got my light Pale Papaya Stampin' Blend, and I'm just going to add some Pale Papaya color. Really, I'm not adding a whole lot. It's not like you're going to go, oh, look, there's Pale Papaya. It's just a suggestion. It's an idea, and it just adds a little depth. Really, what I'm doing is coloring the register marks that they've... Oh, that hasn't quite settled in yet. Come here now. There we go. He doesn't need to be colored anyway. Just coloring the register mark that Stampin' Up! Put. They already put a lot of nice color and definition and texture, but that just added a little more depth, I think. Not anything like my friend Carol can do, but I'm pretty happy with it. All right, these guys take a minute to dry, but I think it's good. So let me go ahead and pull out my trimmer. And if I'm not mistaken, that is a 1/2 inch that we want to cut. Are we twisting your arm? Yeah, 1/2 inch. Are we twisting it? I'm sorry, Debbie. I'm not. Sorry, not sorry. All right, so we're going to cut a 1/2 inch strip there. And then all I'm really doing is I'm just going to trim I'm snipping the end off. That's all I'm doing. Snipping the end off, like so. Boom. Boom, chakalaka. And then I'll put a little bit of liquid glue along the flower, like so. And there goes our sentiment. Just like that. Now, everybody likes a little bling. I mean, I like a little bling, so I'm going to add a few of these gold adhesive sequins. I'm using these ones that look kind of like teardrops, but I'm doing them upside down, so now they're kind of like balloons. I'm going to put 3 out like that, and then I think I'll put a couple of these little small ones. And that's my front right there. Okay. Now, on the inside, I'm just going to do 2 things. I'm going to have a matted white panel on the left side. And then on the right side, I have another piece of the Delicate Desert DSP in way too big, apparently. Let me see what I've done here. All right. I didn't do a very good job measuring, apparently. So what I need is a 3 by 4 1/4, and what I cut was a 3 1/8 by 4 3/8, which is completely wrong. Completely wrong. Let me be sure that my math's right. Yeah. So I want, shoot fire. Sorry guys, 3 by 4 1/4. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Easy trigger. Easy trigger. So we're going to go 3 by 4 1/4. like so. Aren't these pretty papers? I love them. And the other side is just as gorgeous. This is in Cajun Craze. Pretty. What we're going to do here, this is kind of fun. I mean, I think, she says modestly. Thank you. Thank you, Jay Waddell. I appreciate that very much. All right, I'm going to stamp You Are What Sunshine Feels Like in Blackberry Bliss. And I'm going to pull it to me just a little bit so I can see it and maybe get it straight. And we're going to stamp right there in the middle of that DSP. And then, are you ready? This is fun. There's a cool die in the Desert Detail set. What a mess. What a mess. What a mess. You ought to see my house. Good Lord. All right. This little die right here cuts holes. So let me show you what that's going to do. Pull Mr. Mini back. And we probably need some plates. All I'm going to do is I'm going to cut those little die holder doohickeys, little die cuts, right out of the top corner and a bottom corner. And we're going to put another piece of... oh, I'm glad you like that. It is fun. And we have a lot of DSPs that will let you do that. So let your imagination run wild. All right. We'll put that in place and run this through. There we go. Okay. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other corner. Okay, like so. Down here. Kind of try to get it about the same, you know, kind of evenly even. All right, there we go. Oh, I'm so glad, Peggy. That's nice to know. It's all I forget a lot of stuff that I know I like, and then I see somebody do it, and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember how cool that is. Okay, so I'm gonna set that aside. Set this aside. Pick that up. You do want to be kind of careful with your sticky note when you have it on DSP, because it can get a little pulley, okay? Now, let me show you a little trick. I want to put a contrasting color behind this, so I'm going to take a 2 7/8 inch by 4 1/8 inch piece of the DSP that I'm going to locate here in just a second. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe, maybe not. We don't know. 2 7/8 by 4 1/8. Here we go. Okay. Now, you could use cardstock, but that's really going to add a lot of thickness. Okay, so let's go 2 7/8. You can see this is the same by 4 1/8, the same DSP that I used on the back of the large card base. And what we're going to do is we're going to adhere it behind this panel with a little bit of liquid glue, and then we're going to put it on the... Hey, Debbie, we'll see you next time. Hope you enjoy the replay, and thank you very much. We're just going to use a little liquid glue. By using DSP, you get a little bit thinner layer, okay? And it works pretty good because it's the right color, and it's the same as what we had. So now we'll take this and adhere it on its Blackberry Bliss mat, and you get a contrasting color. All right, easy and peasy. And I'm sorry we're going so long, you guys. It's a little more complicated card than I thought, or I'm talking too much, not doing as much stamping as yakking, perhaps. This has been known to happen. Just saying. Okay, again, the hard part is remembering which panel to put what thing on, okay? So I want this on the moving panel, like so. And then on the other side, I'm going to stamp that flower again, the big one. I'm going to get my envelope ready so that I can do 2 at once because I'm so efficient. Aw, hey Tammy, I'm glad. Then I am glad it was a longer video. Okay, you know what? Let me be sure this is the right piece of cardstock because I had a few out here. There we go. It is. It is. It turned out to be that it is. We'll ink this up in Calypso Coral. Tap, tap, tap with our sponge dauber. And then I'm just going to put it in the corner. And I'm going to go on this opposite corner. We'll set that aside. Do the same on the envelope. Hopefully, you know, on the bottom of the envelope, not in the big part of the envelope. Oh, thank you, Nadine. I appreciate that. All right, tap, tap, tap. And then we'll go in the corner here on the envelope. Whoop. Okay. And then I'll take that light papaya blend. Remember when you're blending on an envelope, my mother just cringed. You want to go very lightly or put something in there like a piece of plastic or some of the acetate that you get with your photopolymer stamp sets. And make sure you're protecting the back. If you push too hard and you aren't protecting your envelope, you can get that blend to bleed through to the back, which is nobody wants that. I mean, it's pretty and all, but you don't want it where you don't want it. You want it to blend if you want it to blend, not because it just did it on its own. All right, just laying down a little bit of the light pale papaya to add a little bit of depth to the already gorgeous stamped image. I just love, love, love this flower. I really do. All righty then. What effect did the sponge dauber have? So for me, it quieted down this edge right here. There's still an edge, like an outline, but for me, with this stamp and this color of ink with the juiciness of my ink pad, it looked funny. So, and it's pretty subtle. You may not even be able to see it on the camera, but I see it. And so for me, it made it better. So what I recommend is, especially with the distinctive stamps, ink it with the color you plan to use on your card and stamp it on a piece of scrap paper. And if it looks good to you, drive on. If it has an issue, just remember this tip to use a same color sponge dauber and tap, tap, tap. And it just removes a little bit of the excess ink and evens out the tone of the stamp. That's what it does right there. And here we go. Oh, who's sick? Who's sick? Oh, Vicky, I'm so sorry. I hope you feel better soon. This COVID, gonna be here forever, I fears. Gonna be around forever. I think one of these days we're gonna discover that chicken soup is the thing, better than any of the other things. Chicken soup will be the thing that fixes COVID, the quickest and bestest. All right. And then we'll put this in here like so. And we'll get our large base. And I'm just going to put some liquid glue on the back of the small card base. And to put this in, you just kind of let it open up and slide the back in. And like I said earlier, I lined up these points with the edge of the DSP on this front flap. So right there and right there is lined up and then kind of centered top to bottom. And you're good to go. Give that a little bitty rub. And there is our card front. our card. It's not even the front, it's the whole stinking card. It's all of it. It's the whole card right there. I love how that worked out. So you get the Blackberry Bliss matte, but you get the pale papaya behind. I'm going to put a little bit more of that DSP on my envelope flap with some liquid glue, and we'll be done-ski. We'll be done-ski. There. Chicken soup and gargle with Southern Comfort. There you go. Pretty sure that that hasn't been prescribed yet, but it makes sense to me. Because if it doesn't cure you, at least you're going to be spending so much time gagging that you won't even worry about whether you have COVID or not. You'll be like, didn't we used to, and by we, I mean people who actually have children, not me. Didn't people used to give their kids like whiskey with some honey or something in it to soothe their throat? I don't know if that was really a thing or not. All right, there we go. A Joyfold card with the gorgeous Desert Details bundle and the Delicate Desert DSP, which is gorgeous and available right now. No more waiting. No more waiting. All right, guys, I appreciate you being so patient with me. We went 12 minutes over time today, and I hope you've enjoyed it and you will give it a shot. And if you are interested at all in being a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator for the discount or for a little side hustle, I would be glad to have you. Very happy to have you as a Critters. And hope to see you soon. All right, guys, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your week, and I will see you on Saturday. See ya. Ta.